Test check. Test check. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of The Designated Designer, a podcast by designers, for designers, and clients alike. So guess what, guys? We're finally getting to it. We're gonna do the creative contract in today's episode. Woo! I know I've been talking about it for like the last 2 episodes, and I've been avoiding it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have been avoiding it because I'm in the process of updating my design contract, like right now. I have been meaning to do updates to it like 7 to 8 months ago. It has literally just been a lingering quarterly goal of mine to get my contract revised and like updated and stuff. Because the thing about contracts that a lot of people like don't talk about is they are always changing. You know, it's never like a one size fits all type of approach. You're never going to be able to just download a contract from another designer and have it work perfectly for you. You know, there's going to be times where something happens or something comes out of left field that you weren't really anticipating and you go, oh, okay, well, let's add that to the contract. So the way that I like to manage updating my contract, even though I haven't done it at all yet, is I have like a little notes list. And basically every time something stupid happens to me in my business, like there's a miscommunication or something goes wrong or something is uncomfortable, I just write it down and then I add that to like my revisions list for the contract. And then next time I go in to revise the contract, I would update it if I had ever revised my contract yet. I'm going to, I promise. It is like a must do for Q1 for me this year. So the reason why I was avoiding filming this episode was because I felt like a fraud talking to other people about what should be in a creative contract when like mine itself is not up to date. But I'm going to do my best to overcome that imposter syndrome and just talk about it, because even though I don't have a ton of experience in it, I still have some experience in it. So maybe this will help somebody that has no experience in it. So we're going to talk about the creative contract today. I got my iced vanilla berry Red Bull all ready to go. I'm so excited. So let's dig into it. Creative contracts. This is not something that I had for most of my initial years in business. I would get like 1099 from some of the gigs that I would work and stuff like that. And that was really scary for a total noob who had no idea what they were doing and didn't even know what a 1099 was. So at that time, I was already feeling pressure to get some kind of creative contract in place. But honestly, like, I didn't know where to start. I didn't even know what should be in a creative contract. I didn't know where to begin looking. I knew nothing about anything in this industry other than just how to be a designer. I didn't know how to be a business person, an accountant, a lawyer, you know, all of the stuff that comes with being a business owner. It can be really overwhelming and daunting to kind of have to not only learn all of that stuff really quickly, but also learn it on the job with no one to train you but yourself. That's like really hard. So when I was going through and trying to get myself together that I could do like a creative contract, I started looking online a lot of places to try to find examples, and honestly, like the Google searches were just crap. I couldn't find anything that was like usable. And my first iteration of a creative contract, it was some crap off Google that I just slapped together so I had something to give my clients to make it seem like I was a little bit more professional than my original years doing this. So I was digging around just kind of looking for research, and for my first contract, that's kind of what I used, was just like a crappy 1-page, found like a reference image in Google image search, and I used that. And then it was at this time in my life I started to discover people like Made by James, Abby Connick, Brands by Robin, CJ, all that kind of stuff. So as I started to discover them and their pages, and I saw that they were offering these creative contract templates, I was like, oh hell yeah, I hit like the jackpot. I hit like the gold mine. This is exactly what I was looking for. And I ended up downloading Abby's and James. And James was really good, but his was like super professional with like words that I couldn't understand. So I was a little scared of that one. But Abby's was really great. It was like 2 pages. It was super cohesive, organized, put together. It touched on all of the good stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. So I ended up downloading Abby's and I started to use that as my contract. And then that's where the evolution began. So I started with her contract and I had everything in there that came with a template. But then as I went through and I worked with this client, I realized there was some stuff in that contract that didn't necessarily apply to me, so I would remove it. And then when there would come instances where I would have to add something to the contract, I would add it. And it started to kind of grow into my own thing. So again, going off the whole buying creative templates and things like that, they are an amazing start. They are worth the investment, but there will come evolution as you work through it. So again, just being mindful of it. You should always be changing. You should always be evolving. You should always be trying to like make yourself better and make things smoother and make things just easier and all that good stuff. Constantly. Say it with me. Constantly. Made by James joked around in one of his videos. He was like, evolve or die, but like it's true. So after I started making those changes to the creative contract, I started to understand really clearly why these things are so important. So it outlines everything up front. There's no questions. Everybody is on the same page going into a project. I think it's so important to lay this foundation in the beginning stages of starting a project with a client. It gives them the impression that you're organized and professional. It gives them the impression that they are going to be taken care of and safeguarded. It gives them the impression that they're not going to get ripped off. It's all very good, reassuring things for your client to have a contract in place. Not only that, but contracts help you sleep at night. For example, I had added it to my contract because this wasn't in the template from Abby, and it wouldn't really be because most of her stuff, she like creates the logos herself. But in my unique business case, sometimes I have clients come to me and they're like, I have the logo done. It's like pretty decent, it's nothing terrible. It's definitely workable. They're like, I had this logo done like a couple years ago. Can you do like a vehicle wrap and yard signs for me? And then I'm like, okay, sure. Because I'm just starting out, I'm not really at the level. I don't know if I ever will be where Abby and CJ and Brands by Robin and all of them are at, where pretty much the only things that they're designing is stuff from brands that they created themselves. But for me, I'm just starting out and I kind of have to say yes to a lot of the stuff that comes my way just so that I can make sure I'm still paying bills and putting money away and putting money back into the business and all that kind of stuff. But in my case, I'm taking on a lot of these projects. Clients are coming to me saying that they already had the brand done and they just want extra pieces of collateral. So to protect myself from situations coming from that is that in my contract for those specific clients only that I'm not doing branding for, I outline very clearly that the client is assuming full responsibility for any trademark infringement, copyright, registered, any of that stuff. They're assuming full responsibility by providing me the logo, that if there is a trademark or a copyright or whatever, I cannot be held liable. That was on them because they provided the logo to me. I'm not going to assume responsibility for a brand that I didn't even create. So I put it in my contract to outline that very, very, very clearly. Another big thing that I put in my contract is that I have the rights to share the work on social media, unless specifically outlined prior that we have like an NDA or something. If I'm under an NDA, obviously I can't share the work until I'm granted permission to. But in every other case, even if it's a design that the client doesn't end up going with, I have permission to share the work that I create. And it's really important for us as creatives to outline that because that's really one of our main fallbacks. Like we own the work that we create. And it's really important to outline where all of that stands as far as your ownership of the work and being able to share it and then transferring the ownership to the client upon receipt of final payment, that they now own those graphics and all that stuff, but you still have permission to share it because it's work you created. So really important stuff like that. And it was tough. It was tough to find resources really until I got into the pool of all of the super amazing people in our industry sharing these design templates and things like that. It was hard before that to find any type of information on anything. So, to anybody that's curious about a design contract, I would definitely start there. Abby's is really good. I don't know if Brands by Robin has a contract template or not, but I know that Made by James does. And I don't know about CJ. But it's a really good place to start just to get that like initial foundation and then just build upon it. It's going to help protect you. It's going to help protect your clients. It's going to help make everybody feel safe and like they can sleep at night. I cannot stress how important it is. And then if you were to ever get in a situation, I mean, God forbid, like that is the worst case scenario, but it's nice to have something that protects you and protects your client if there is a crazy scenario. Like, I know it's ridiculous, but I even have it in my contract, you know, like if I fall so ill or if I die, you know, like it outlines what would happen then. And these are the extremes, but sometimes it's nice to just have that in writing because really you never know. And life is kind of all about playing offense and defense for the unexpected things that happen in life. And that's really why I like contracts, is because it safeguards against all that kind of stuff. It helps protect you, helps protect your client, helps outline pretty much every case scenario. And we can't get them all, right? You know, so it's always going to be changing. It's always going to be growing. But that's why I do keep that document for future edits and future changes that I want to adjust in my contract. And then again, it just gives you that really professional, polished appearance. You know, it's kind of like if you were to hire somebody to do your roof, you would want to find a qualified, licensed, and insured roofer that offers you a warranty. You're going to be paying for that kind of work. You know, you're going to go with somebody that has the licenses, that has the insurance, that has the warranties, because you want to feel safe in your investment, right? You're not going to go with the guy that is like disheveled and the truck's falling apart and there's no insurance and there's no licensing and they don't offer a warranty and they're using cheap materials. Like, you're not going to want to go with that person. Even if they are really talented, like let's say they are the best roofer in the entire state. If they don't have the proper licenses, the proper insurance, you know, the proper warranties and things like that, it's going to give them that disheveled appearance. Even if they're not that, and even if they are the best roofer, it's still going to leave like a bad taste in the customer's mouth or the potential customer versus somebody that shows up and they're well polished and they're dressed to impress and they have the licensing and the insurance and the warranties and all that stuff. That's kind of how people see us with the contract, with the creative contract. So it's just really important. I didn't find a whole lot of resources online when I was initially trying to put one together for myself. But like I said, once I stumbled on all of those amazing creative legends out there, they have a lot of good content, and it was a really great start. It was a great leg up for me. It really did help me get started with implementing a contract, and it really made a big difference for me in my business. You know, I was able to feel more confident charging higher prices. I was able to feel more confident in my overall process. I was able to sleep at night. You know, there was nothing keeping me up at night, and who wouldn't want that, right? Creative contracts, they're important. If you guys have any questions or you want to chat with me further about it, feel free to shoot me an email or reach out to me on any of my social platform DMs. I would love to chat with you about it. I'm still learning, so if you have any advice for me about creative contracts and there's something that I'm missing, feel free to chat me a message and let me know, because I am looking to learn and grow on this journey just as much as whoever is listening in on this episode. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm so glad that we finally got the creative contract out of the way. Woo! And I'm not going to allude to what is coming up next because I want it to be a mystery. I have a lot of moving pieces right now, working on a branding project, working on my rebranding project, working on a ton of fun stuff. And I just kind of want to go with the flow from now on and just wing this and do my best, because that's where I thrive. And that's where I'm my most creative. So we're just going to do that. Until next time, catch you guys later. Bye.